Welcome back to CBS Sports HQ. Now, Lige, you had your turn on Monday with the bracket. It is only fair that Pete Prisco has his moment. So it is time for Prisco's playoff bracket. Fellas, take it away.
Well, I'm not as chalky as Lige is right there, going with the #1 seed. Look, I get it. You picked the Ravens and the Lions. It's highly possible. Huh?
It's a 3 seed.
That's a 3 seed. I'll give you a benefit of the doubt. All right, mine's kind of related to where I was before the season. I don't like to jump off the train when I pick something, so I'm going to stick with it as we get throughout, at least most of it. All right, let's start with the Chargers at the Texans. I'm going with the Chargers. I think they're physical. I think they're tough, and I think their defensive line will give C.J. Stroud a lot of problems because I think the offensive line for the Texans is a big problem.
Yeah, when I look at that game, I actually went the opposite way. I went with the Texans because me and you have talked about this, Pete. I feel like the Chargers have been playing above their weight class, and usually in the playoffs, the talent deficiency or lack thereof kind of shows up. I know for sure that Houston Texans defensive line will be able to get after them. Now, the thing is, they do have 2 bookend tackles, so that'll be the matchup to watch, right? When you look at the offensive tackles for the Chargers versus the defensive ends for the Houston Texans. And then I go to the receivers. You got Stingley Jr., and then you got Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnson. Who will he shadow? When they played the Lions, he actually didn't shadow Amon-Ra St. Brown. He shadowed Jameson Williams, so I can see him actually shadowing Quentin Johnson. But I give the slight edge to the Texans, but not much. So I wouldn't mind the Chargers moving on.
And then in the next game, I think the Ravens are clearly one of the best teams in the league, and they're physical, they're dominant, but I think it'll be tight. I think the Steelers will hang around. Again, there's the playoff, history for Lamar Jackson. He's got to get over that. But I think when you know a team and you play them 3 times, it's tough to really blow them out. So I think the Steelers hang around, but the Ravens will advance.
Yeah, I think the X factor is going to be Derrick Henry. Just listening to him post-game saying how it's time to lock in, right? This is a scenario that he envisioned his whole life. He's with the Tennessee Titans. He made it to the AFC Championship game. He's trying to get back there, get to the Super Bowl. You talk about the woes that Lamar has had, not just in the playoffs, but against the Steelers. I mean, he's only 2-4 against them, too. They get to exercise some of those demons. I got the Ravens moving on as well.
Yeah, and then I have the Bills winning. And I actually think this game is going to be tighter than people think.
I'm with you that 100%.
Yeah, I do think the defensive matchup is really good for the Denver Broncos. My concern will be the rookie quarterback on the road in his first start. I think ultimately they hang around for a while, but the Bills will find a way to win the game.
I'm so glad you said that because everybody just seems this is going to be like a landslide. I think this is going to be good on good because when you look at the Broncos, lead the league in sacks, and then you look at the Buffalo Bills, they've given up the least amount of sacks. So that front can get after you. And then we talk about a team that can stop the run. They're one of the best teams in stopping the run. Bo Nix and Sean Payton. Sean Payton's done a masterful job of making things easy for Bo Nix. He kind of marriages the run game and pass game to make it all look the same. And with that short motion, he always makes you over-communicate on defense. So I'm with you. I think that game's going to be a lot closer than people think.
I think it'll be close, but I think Buffalo will ultimately find a way. All right, let's shift over to the NFC, and we'll move over down here to the bottom. I mean, to the top. I think the 4-5 game, this is one of the best games of the entire weekend. I think you see the Vikings coming off an emotional loss. That's tough to deal with. Sam Darnold has the demon spinning around in his head. I think the Rams veterans will find a way to win that game. I think Stafford will play well. I think they'll run the ball on him. I'm going to take the Rams to win that game.
So I went the opposite way, and I know Sam Darnold did not play well, but if there's any coach that I trust, it's Kevin O'Connell to get his quarterback out of that funk.
You don't trust Sean McVay?
No, I'm talking about as far as getting your quarterback out of a funk. Because we've seen him. He's poured so much confidence into Sam Darnold. It looks like a totally different player this year. And then also the Rams have not played. Me and you talked about this, Pete. They have not played well the last couple of weeks. I thought that they should have played last week just to try to get that offense going again because it hasn't looked good. When you look at Cooper Kupp the last 6 games, only 2 games he's gone over 60 yards. They're going to need him in the playoffs. Yes, Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams, they're going to show up. But you need that third asset. Cooper Kupp has to show up. And we just broke down the Vikings defense. It's going to be tough.
But they play a lot of zone. And when you play the Rams, those guys know how to sit down and find those soft areas of zones. I went with the Rams in that one. So they advance against the Vikings. As we move on, I got the Bucs beating the Commanders. I think this is going to be one of the best games in terms of going up and down the field. I think both quarterbacks play at a high level. Baker Mayfield's been phenomenal. The Bucs have injuries in the secondary. I think this one's high scoring, but I think in the end, I think Baker Mayfield will make the plays to win it.
And that's why I went with the Commanders, because me and you, Pete, we've talked about it. The injuries in the secondary, but more specifically at the safety position, their top 3 safeties have been out. And we even saw versus New Orleans Saints, they gave up some big plays. I mean, Dante Pettis looked like University of Washington Dante Pettis versus defense on Sunday. So we talk about Jaden Daniels and how he's elevated this team. I'm with you. I think this is going to be a back and forth game. If Jaden Daniels gets the ball last, I don't know if there's any quarterback that's better right now this NFL season than Jaden Daniels with the game on the line and the ball in his hand.
Yeah, and so when you look at it, this bracket is, I got the Packers advancing against the Eagles. And everybody's going to say, what are you doing? That was my pick at the beginning of the year, and I don't jump off that bandwagon. I would love the pick a lot more if Alexander and Christian Watson were in the game.
For sure.
But I think that, LaFleur is so good. We don't know what Jalen Hurts is going to be.
Issue, yeah.
I mean, we have no idea. And, and Jordan Love's banged up, but he's not banged up with a concussion. And that's always a concern when you're playing a guy at quarterback who has concussion issues. So I'm going to go with the Packers in an upset. I think they can go in there and win. And the line's kind of reflective of that a little bit. You look at the line, I think it's like 4.5 right now. It's not a big number.
Yeah. This could be funny because this could be an under game depending on the health of the 2 quarterbacks, right? That's going to be the conversation in this game. Jordan Love's coming off the elbow injury, had to come out of game last week. Jalen Hurts hasn't played in 2 weeks. Could be some rust for the Philadelphia Eagles. I just think the talent separation is what will get the Eagles this win. I have the Eagles advancing.
All right, let's go back. We're going to go back to the AFC, and I got the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Chargers. Again, division game, third time, tough to win it. Chiefs will be rested. They're getting guys back healthy. That's the most important thing. I think the biggest difference in this Chiefs team right now is the fact that they have those speed receivers together. Worthy and Brown, Hollywood Brown, they open up the underneath stuff. That allows Kelsey and Hopkins, who don't run very well, neither one of them, to be able to sit down in the little areas and create problems. So I have the Chiefs advancing.
Yeah, Pete, we've talked about it all year long. This offense has really struggled, but it was that game versus the Houston Texans when Hollywood Brown made his debut for the Kansas City Chiefs. That was the best I've ever seen this Chiefs offense look. And then the next week versus the Steelers, they took off, and I was like, oh my God, here we go again. Like all the doubt that we had with Patrick Mahomes and this offense and Andy Reid, they have the pedigree to win games. I have them advancing there too.
And in this game, this was the toughest one of all of them for me to pick. I took Buffalo because I picked Buffalo before the season. It wouldn't surprise me if the Ravens could beat them up there. They're a physical team. Buffalo has problems with that. But I think this is the moment for Josh Allen to take over. I really do. And I worry a little bit. The Ravens have been much better on defense lately. But I still worry about where are they going to get the pass rush. I mean, you can't count on Van Noy week in and week out. Van Noy
been cooking though, man.
I know, but you can't count on that week in and week out. I'm going to go with Buffalo in this spot.
And I think this is a game Nnamdi Madubuike has to show up interior, right? Because I actually love the tackles from Buffalo Bills when you talk about Spencer Brown and Deion Dawkins, who was a Pro Bowler. I just think styles make fights. And these teams played early in the year. Now, neither of these teams are the same because the Ravens were awful on defense at that time, and now they're one of the best defenses in football. And Josh has literally elevated his team since that game. I just think the physicalness, like you said, has always caused them issues when you look at how many rushing yards they gave up versus the Ravens the first time. Even the New York Jets, when they played them in MetLife, the physical run game has caused them issues. I think the Ravens advance here.
Didn't have either starting linebacker in that game. Neither one. Milano wasn't there and Bernard weren't there. They weren't there. So, I mean, you need those guys on the field. Okay, let's go as we move over to the NFC. I have the Packers beat the Lions. And look, I think that one will be one of those high-scoring games. You're talking about, look, the Detroit Lions were really good on defense, but I think the Vikings kind of played into what they wanted to do the other day. The Vikings didn't have an identity. I think the Packers will go in there and have their identity. They'll throw it around. They'll play loose. They'll play free. They didn't do it the first time early in that game. Remember, later in the game they did. I think they have a chance to do that. I'll take the Packers.
But that's the question mark, because we've had that about the Green Bay Packers. Like, what is their identity?
True.
Are they led by Josh Jacobs, or is it led by Jordan Love? So that's the question mark. It's going to be hard to win in Detroit. I got Detroit advancing right there.
And then in this one's going to be a great game. I got the Bucs. I think they're a dangerous team. I think the mix of young and old, really dangerous. I have them meeting the Packers in the championship game.
Yeah, if the Bucs are at home, I had Philly advancing, but if the Bucs were at home, I would take the Bucs here as well, too.
And then we move on. We move over to the AFC. Sticking with my original pick, I'm going with Buffalo Bills. Look, I almost hate picking against Michael Jordan in the playoffs.
Tough, man.
But it's time. Somebody's got to beat beat him, and I got Josh Allen. He should have beat him there a couple years ago. I think he beats him in this one.
So, yeah, me and Pete, I had Baltimore advancing. I actually did have him taking down Michael Jordan. I had Baltimore going into Arrowhead and winning that game. So we're right there with just different teams.
And then over here, I have the Packers. I have the Packers winning. They're going to roll. Look, that'll be another one. First one to 38 wins.
Pretty much.
I will love that. I will enjoy that. And that's the way I love to see good football. I'm going to take the Packers. And then we get to the Super Bowl. Before the season, I picked Green Bay to win it.
Yeah, you did.
I'm flipping.
You're flipping?
I'm flipping.
Nah, you got to hold Green Bay down, man.
I flip. I think the MVP is going to ride that wave all the way to win it all, and the Buffalo Bills are going to win a Super Bowl.
If this is the matchup, I would take Buffalo as well. Strictly.
Movie camera, hey, Cowboys fans. Today, we're bringing you some news that's shaking up the NFL and could make every Dallas Cowboys fan's heart race. Just imagine 2 NFL superstars joining forces on a team with a legacy of shining bright. But before we dive into the main topic of this video, tell me, if you could pick one big name to strengthen the Cowboys in 2025, who would it be? Drop your answer in the comments, and let's see who the fan favorite is. 3 o'clock, the current situation. The 2024 season wasn't an easy ride for the Cowboys or for several league stars. Micah Parsons, our brilliant defender, faced a challenging season. But that hasn't shaken his determination to bring Dallas back to the top. And he's proving that off the field as well. This week, Parsons took to Twitter with a bold idea, recruiting none other than Tyreek Hill, the Cheetah, to join the Cowboys. Fire Micah Parsons recruits Tyreek Hill. Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill made some powerful statements after the season, making it clear he's open to a fresh start. I need to do what's best for my career and my family, Hill said. That's when Parsons stepped in, quickly posting a direct message on social media. Come to Dallas. We'll be the fastest duo in the league. Can you imagine Hill and CeeDee Lamb on the same offense? With Dak Prescott leading the charge, this duo would be virtually unstoppable. Lightbulb, why would Tyreek Hill be perfect for the Cowboys? Hill is one of the most explosive players in the league, and his speed is a nightmare for any defense. Even in a down year in Miami, he finished with 81 receptions, 959 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Now, with his desire for a fresh start and a championship run, Dallas could be the ideal place for him to make a comeback. However, here's the challenge. Hill's contract is hefty. With over $100 million guaranteed through 2026, it would take some financial creativity to bring this superstar to Texas. Start increasing the potential impact on the Cowboys. If this move were to happen, Hill could transform the Cowboys' offense, delivering the speed and explosiveness the team needs to compete with NFC powerhouses. Plus, pairing Hill with Lamb as receivers would be a true gift for Dak Prescott, boosting the team's chances of making a Super Bowl run. Flex Biceps, now it's your turn. Fans, do you think Tyreek Hill is the missing piece for the Dallas Cowboys? Or should the team focus on strengthening other areas? And how would you feel seeing Micah Parsons not only lead the defense, but also act as a recruiter to bring in top talent? Megaphone, join the discussion. Drop your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and share it with other Cowboys fans. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on all the latest news, rumors, and exclusive analyses about our team. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. American football, go Cowboys! Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Together, let's build an even brighter future for the Dallas Cowboys.